Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to another glorious morning here in Nebraska at Markelly Farm. If you remember our sheep experiment that we did here on our shelter belt, we're on to stage 2 now. And if you want to see what we're doing, come on along. So stage 2 is the whole reason that we did this, is getting all the down dead wood out of our shelter belt, because it has accumulated for a lot of years and there's a ton of it and we couldn't see it. A lot of it was covered with grass. So the neighbors brought some sheep down, got rid of the grass, so now we're getting rid of the down dead wood. So I actually started over here where the sheep didn't get over here. Their fence didn't come out this far, but I trimmed up these cedar trees that were here on the end. You can see there's still some brush in here. I've been doing lots of cutting with the chainsaw, or Stihl electric chainsaw has been performing phenomenal. So our fence was right here. The sheep were all that direction. I have my cousin's kid coming tomorrow. He's going to come help. He's going to help drag all this wood up here onto the bank where I can get it with the tractor, with the brush crusher. But you can see how the grass was all laid out of here, so we can see what's here. All of this brush has fell down, the logs and everything has fell down from the Chinese elm trees that are dying off here in the shelter belt. So the big stuff, like this big limb here that fell over onto this other tree, we'll drag that up with the tractor. The big log down there, we'll drag it up with the tractor. I've been putting all my firewood logs here, and then all the brush goes down there on our burn pile. I've already pulled some out of here that I did yesterday, and we're going to have just an enormous brush pile. I'm going to have to get a burn permit and probably burn this or create 2 piles. Maybe I'll create another pile down in here somewhere. But that's what we're up to. We'll take you along over here and see all this stuff I've cleaned up and cut out of here. All these cedar trees had dead limbs all the way down. I'll show you one out front that I haven't done yet. But all this brush needed to be brought up here onto the bank, but it's looking so much better already. I've been in here cutting old dead stuff. Now this right here is one of our widowmakers that I need to get rid of. This Chinese elm tree has completely fallen over, really tall. It's uprooted, it's all dead, fell over onto this tree. So we're not going to do it. Well, we might do it tomorrow, but I'm not sure. We may just work on clearing the brush out, because we're going to hook up to the bottom of this with the tractor and pull it out this way. The problem is I need to take the top bar off my fence and lay the wire down for the backyard, because if that log comes down on that fence, it's going to bend it all up. I'm hoping it'll ride that other tree down and not actually fall into the yard, but no guarantee on that. And then there's another limb up here that is broke off of this tree way up high that's leaning over, that's going to eventually come down one day in the wind. All this crazy brush came off of these cedar trees. And then all the way down here. This was all covered with really tall grass and volunteer marijuana that grows in here. It's not your traditional marijuana that they grow for, you know, the people that smoke that stuff. This is actually called hemp, but people around here call it marijuana. It looks just like it. The leaves look the same and everything. It's actually been budding out. But I've been told that they grew hemp around the Midwest for the war effort to make ropes with, and this is leftover stuff from that just keeps coming back. Got our road down through here. We got this triangle cleaned up. Went in there with a chainsaw, knocked everything down that needed to come down. Just got to start pulling stuff out of there. We worked a little bit last night in here with a tractor, getting this road clear so I can use it for transporting limbs tomorrow. Here's looking down the tree rows. These trees were planted in rows years ago for ease of watering. So we can just kind of work our way down these rows. I'll take you in here by the backyard. Here's another big tree that has fallen. I've got it sectioned up a little bit. I'll have to cut a couple more sections to get it with the grapple. More big ones. Got some big logs all the way down through here where these big trees are falling. This is the stuff I'm cutting off of these cedars on the bottom. All these lower dead branches. All this stuff here. You can see this one over here is really nasty. Some of the cedars, there's a few that are dead. This one here is still alive, but only up top. But trim out all this junk. Here's the area behind the backyard here. This was crazy tall in grass. The sheep did a good job. You can already see some green in here. That's why we got to get this done. Otherwise that grass will be right back. You can see this tree here a little better, the one that's leaning over onto the other tree, and how tall it is. So it's going to be a chore to get out of there. That tree's completely dead. These logs here have been in here for so long they're pretty much rotten. They won't be any good for firewood. Boy, you can see all the way down through here. This used to be just crazy dense forest in here where you couldn't even see through it. So now we can. Got to figure out what to do with this bundle of old snow fence. I'll probably just burn it and then pull the wire out and scrap the wire. Another big tree that has come down. The wind takes care of them most of the time. And if we're lucky, they don't snag in another tree. But that one there will be good for firewood. It's going to be a beautiful area in here when we get this cleaned up. And we have a side gate up there from the yard. We could make like a nice little fire pit area down here too. So it'd be like camping. This tree was actually cut down because it was dead, but it was before we bought the property. It's been laying in here since. Lots of animals like living down in here. Had a porcupine in here one time that Brandy got a hold of. Here's our other widowmaker here. Fell into this other tree. But again, we'll tie around the bottom of this with the tractor, pull it backwards, and just let her fall. That'll be all firewood there, along with these other big limbs. We've got some cedars that fell down in here that'll be firewood. This is the last area I was working on last night. Got this area all cleaned up, but still need to do this corner over here. So this is what we're going to start on this morning. This cedar tree here. Clean this area up. There's a live cedar tree right here in the middle, but we'll clean all this dead stuff out. It's another Chinese elm growing here and here. We'll probably keep going. But all this stuff's got to come out of here. We'll trim some of this smaller stuff up. There was a little widowmaker here, but we can get all that cut out of there and pulled down without the tractor. And then this big old pile of branches out of the yard that fall down in the yard during windstorms. Once we get this area cleaned up, we can get up here with a tractor and grab it. But that's what we're doing. So I'm going to go get the chainsaw. We'll get started with this. Here's our trusty Stihl electric battery operated chainsaw. I cannot say enough good stuff about this saw. It has been amazing. Don't have to mix the gas and the oil and all that anymore. It's so fantastic, and all the work I've done in this shelter belt so far, you've seen how much I've done with all the down wood. I've only gone through 3 batteries with all of that. So pretty cool. Does still take bar oil, but I use recycled freeze dryer oil, because Kelly's freeze dryer, the vacuum pump, takes oil, and you have to change the oil every now and then. And I have her save the oil, and I use it for bar oil. So there's a good tip if you got a freeze dryer and you use a chainsaw every now and then. Well, that already looks a lot better. I'm going to pull some of these bigger limbs out of here. We'll leave the smaller stuff for the tractor. Okay, don't these trees look a lot nicer now? Even trimmed up these little ones, got the lower dead branches off. And we're at the point where we can come in here with the tractor, take a big bite out of that pile, so we don't have to move a bunch of that around. Got the bigger limbs out here. You can see I've got kind of a theme going. Brush pile, wood pile, brush pile. So, gonna get the tractor and at least clear this area out before tomorrow. I need to go down the side road over there and make sure we're clear to take brush through. If it's a little tight, the brush will be dragging off of my grapple. Well, we got all these cedar trees along here cleaned up. I've got about 6 piles so far. We've been out here for like an hour and a half, and this chainsaw battery just ran out. Amazing time you can cut with that thing. We did all this and all that up there you saw us do. So we're going to switch the battery out, get a drink, continue on down this road. Probably going to have to take this tree out. This one here is pretty well established. We'll leave it, but we'll probably take a few of those others because it's just too dense in there. Alright, got my new battery back out here. I also submitted a burn permit online for an application, so that'll probably come back here pretty quick, because I started thinking that pile is going to get pretty big when I get the tractor out and start moving this stuff up, so we can burn down what we're gathering today and what's already in the pile, and then tomorrow we can keep pushing on it and just keep burning all the way through for like 3 days. Well, I don't know if y'all have ever handled cedar brush, but it's nasty. It wants to hang up on everything. You go to pick it up, you're stepping on it. It's crazy stuff. If you'd ever go hiking and don't want to fall off a cliff, take a cedar branch with you. The only thing that's as sticky as this stuff is almond brush. that stuff hangs on everything too. Now looking at this bigger tree, it's still going to be in the way over here, so I'm thinking it needs to come down. Trim this cedar up here. It's going to get nice daylight now because everything's cut down around it, so that'll be a nice tree now. Now this reminds me of a time when I was back in high school. I promise the story won't be too long. We took a test. I think it was my junior or senior year, and you answered a bunch of questions about what you liked and disliked and this and that, and it came back with what they thought would be a good career for you. And I'll never forget, and this reminds me of it, it came back as tree surgeon. So that's kind of funny. Look at this crazy mushroom I found growing over here on this stick. Never seen anything like that. Pretty wild. Another one down here on the ground. I wish I was a mushroom expert because I love mushrooms. Got our road opened up quite a bit. It's going to be a lot nicer now. And we've made it all the way down to the end of the road. I'm just going to tidy up a few branches on the road here. Maybe take that little tree out over there. And then we'll start hauling. Got to check on the burn permit. We can get this thing going. Okay, we got a clear path. Clear to the burn pile. Alright, burn permit's been approved. Cool online application. So we're going to get the fire started and we'll get some lunch, let it burn down a little bit. We'll get to moving brush. Came out for making a sandwich and the pile's gone. So we can get the tractor out, start bringing some more brush over. The key to using the tractor is you keep the brush low as you go in and push the pile in. That way the brush that you're carrying protects you from the heat of the fire. And then you just keep shoving it into the fire. I pick up my stragglers on the way back. We got the haul road all cleared out, so we've been taking bites of this stuff over here. I'm going to kind of grab all this mess, pull this tree down with the tractor, clean this corner up right here. Don't have much diesel left in the tractor, so we'll get done what we can today. I've already gone further than what my goal was. My goal was just to clean this up. I think we'll get a little more done than that. Taking little bites out of this area here. Found another whole roll of drift fence. Crazy. We're just going to throw that on the pile, let it burn all that wood out of it. Well, we were able to get this corner mess pulled out of there. Had some good cedar logs though, so I had to limb those out, and that was a real pain. 1,000 limbs on them cedar logs. We got this big widowmaker down out of that tree. But we're about out of diesel, and our chainsaw is out of juice, and I don't want to start another battery. So I think this cedar tree here, though, is dead. So I'm going to try to just push that over as I'm cleaning this up. That'll do it. Last load. Well, the fire kept up with us all day long. I just brought our last load up and it's already burned everything out. The star of the show today was old Johnny with the Westendorf brush crusher. Just absolutely fantastic machine. This thing has paid for itself 10 times over, in my opinion. You can really move a lot of brush. And remember, the ballast we built, this is the kind of work it's used for right here. It's nice and tight to the tractor so we can get around in tight areas. And it keeps my hind end on the ground when I got a real heavy load up front. And then it holds the chainsaw handy and chains and whatever else I need in there. So we're going to put things away. We'll come back later tonight when this fire cools down and fork everything to the middle and start on this again tomorrow. Probably won't bring you along tomorrow because I want to get some stuff done because I got somebody here helping. So probably won't do any filming, but I appreciate you hanging out with us today. Till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come on back and see us here at the farm.